Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a video where I speak some uncomfortable truths that simply need to be said about Wooting because they are allowing themselves to be passed up. And I know if you're a Wooting truther like I was, this may sound crazy, but if you've tried a keyboard like the Sayakeeb HM80, you understand what I'm talking about. Wooting simply needs to lower their dead zones and allow 0.01 millimeter actuation and rapid trigger, or else there's really just not going to be as much of a definitive case. Because in the past, you guys gotta understand, I never bought into the Wooting clones, like the Polar 65, the Boog 75, I didn't care. I just went back to my 60HE for like 3 years straight. But this HM80, it arrived at pretty much the exact same day Wooting had sent out to me this zinc alloy case for my 80HE, these Japanese keycaps, Lecker 45s. I was like, wow, I have the ENDGAME keyboard. And then the next day from China, I get actual ENDGAME, and it's insane. So I feel like this just needs to be said. I've been using these keyboards for a few weeks now, and genuinely, when I switch amongst them, I don't think the HM80 is worse in any way. So Wooting needs to do something to beat these Chinese clones. And it's not like this keyboard is cheap at all either. It's $200, but it competes very well with the standard plastic 80HE, which I feel like it's just a better buy. You gotta pre-order the standard 80HE, whereas this is in stock. I'm not sponsored, obviously, but you can use like some code for 5% off. And the point of this video is not to say blasphemous things about Wooting. I think this is a great keyboard. I could easily use it forever. I'm not somebody who really values having a alloy case or just a nice sounding keyboard. I literally put Lecker 45 switches on the gaming keys and just left the Lecker 60s on everything else just because I don't really care. But I will say with the HM80 you get Gateron Jade Pros, I believe, stock, and the case, it does feel very light. It doesn't feel super high quality, but I will say I had the HM66 in the past, which probably would have been the same enlightening experience, except the board would literally just creak whenever I would press a key down. So it was just really, that was unusable quality. But the HM80 is much better. The keyboard sounds much creamier. I'll do sound tests later, but the point I'm trying to get at is that I'm somebody who has just always cared about the keyboard that offers the best performance, and for a long time Wooting offered that. Before Wooting, it was the Apex Pro, but now I think that Wooting clones they're just as good, if not a slightly better option. I know a lot of you guys are going to think, oh, I don't use ultra low rapid trigger or actuation point values, so it doesn't make a difference for me. But my honest subjective truth is that if I use these keyboards with the same settings, but I have the lower initial actuation point of the HM80, Wooting just feels ever so slightly sluggish in comparison. And when I first really experienced that and then found it out, it almost brought a tear to my eye. But Wooting, they're just limiting themselves. It's not the hardware being limited, it's just the software. And I think they believe that the user is dumb, and they're gonna set it on the fastest values and then blame Wooting when they get misinputs. I think if they just put adequate warnings, that wouldn't be an issue. Maybe it's another reason, but something has to be done, and I'm happy to get all of the hate if it eventually leads to some change, because as it stands, there's just not much of a reason for me to use my 80HE over the HM80. And I'm aware that there's nothing Wooting can do that will make the HM80 or any of these clone boards feel awful in comparison. But given that Wooting is really the premium, the most expensive, the best performing option on the market, they should certainly enable features that match, if not exceed, the rest of the market. That is just my opinion on it, and once again, I don't feel like I am any type of worse player when I use my 80HE compared to my HM80. Yeah, going forward, I see myself keeping the HM80 on my desk for the majority of the time. I do get sent a lot of other Hall Effect keyboards to review, whether it be the Magger 68 from LumenKey. I hear this is very popular in Japan. I haven't really been able to put a ton of time on it. The Made 68 Ultra, which I actually harvested the king of magnet switches. I threw them in my 80HE for a little bit. But the thing is, this is going to be a little separate rant. Every fucking Hall Effect switch has switch wobble. It doesn't matter, stem wobble, whatever it's called. It doesn't matter if it's Jade's, any switch, it's going to have fucking wobble. So I just put up with it. The Leckers, though, they just don't blow me away. It's just kind of like a clacky, just like a standard Hall Effect switch experience. And yeah, I'm no Hall Effect switch expert, but from my testing, I don't think Leckers are the endgame switch, but if you are building a Wooting and just want to get everything from Wooting, I would say the 45-gram spring version is just objectively better for gaming. I've been on light springs for a while, so it's just what I recommend. But yeah, all in all, a lot of these new Hall Effect keyboards, they're top tier, but only the HM80 you can put a shocked emoji in the top right corner of. And yeah, that's really just the cherry on top, and not much more needs to be said about that. And yeah, I don't have any agenda. Both of these keyboards were sent out to me by the respective companies. I guess I actually do have an agenda. It's Hall Effect keyboard supremacy, in which case I can recommend either of these. To reiterate, I'm not saying that Wooting is bad or significantly worse. They're just not allowing their switch to act at its full potential, and potentially that's due to on lower like actuation points and rapid trigger, the Lecker switch, it just would function worse compared to some other stuff on the market. But then, I mean, I don't know, what's the value proposition for Wooting? You get switches that don't perform as well under the most sensitive options and you pay more. It doesn't make sense, as much sense, to buy a Wooting as it once did. That is what this video is just trying to get at, and I love Wooting. They've provided me great keyboards for many years. I've recommended them countless times, but yeah, the HM80 is my go-to board currently. I don't know if it'll stay that way forever, but yeah, this is really just a sign of the times, and I wanted to give people an update on what I'm using as my main keyboard personally. If you want to use something else, God bless. And I'm gonna do sound test now, just not real like typing test, just quick sound test, so you can get a feel for the integrity of the sound. Yeah, that's going to be all for a video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, the 4-year warranty and the very high quality web software are the areas where Wooting still does have the competition outclassed, just to be fair to Wooting. But yeah, like and sub if you enjoyed. Peace.